When the shelves go empty and the trucks stop rolling, you won't feel the end of the world all at once. It'll start small. A quiet kind of panic when your stomach growls and there's nothing left in the fridge but hope and old condiments. That's not hunger. That's your body starting the slow process of eating itself. See, when food disappears, most people imagine they'll just feel hungrier every day. Maybe cranky, maybe tired. But that's not how it goes. Hunger isn't an emotion. It's your body pulling the fire alarm while the building's already burning. For the first day or two, you'll still move around fine. You'll tell yourself you're saving supplies for later, that the power will come back, that help is coming. But by day 3, your body has started burning backup systems. Fat first, then muscle, then sanity. You'll get lightheaded, slow, and cold. Your brain will whisper, maybe I don't need to walk today. That's not laziness, that's shutdown mode. Your body is rationing power like a dying battery, dimming the lights room by room until only the bare minimum stays on. But here's the cruel joke. You already have enough calories stored on you to survive for weeks. You're carrying your own pantry. You just can't access it fast enough. So your body starts breaking itself down for fuel, one cell at a time. You are quite literally eating yourself to stay alive. The good news? You don't die right away. Humans are absurdly stubborn animals. You can outlast a storm, a blackout, even a famine, if you know how to play the game. The bad news? Your brain is terrible at survival math. The moment you skip a meal, it starts bargaining. Maybe I'll eat less now and feast later. Maybe if I sleep more, I'll need less. Maybe one granola bar can last a week. It can't. Starvation is a liar that speaks with your own voice. But here's the real problem. It's not just the lack of food that kills you. It's the decisions you make while starving. Desperation makes people stupid. They eat spoiled cans. They wander into storms to hunt imaginary rabbits. They burn more calories trying to find food than they'll ever recover. If you want to survive when everything collapses, you have to stop thinking like a shopper and start thinking like a furnace. You don't need meals, you need fuel. And you already have the most important survival tool in the world, a stubborn, 100-watt biological engine that refuses to die quietly. So before we talk about eating grass, boiling shoe leather, or turning trash into dinner, remember this. Starvation doesn't win fast, it wins slow. And if you keep your head clear, you can outlast it. Now, let's learn how. If you're going to fight starvation, you need to know what it is. It's not a monster hiding in the dark. It's a slow, polite assassin that knocks first, then waits while you open the door. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your body is an engineer, not a hero. It follows rules. It doesn't care about hope, feelings, or that motivational playlist you made before the blackout. It cares about balance, input versus output. When food stops coming in, the system starts shutting down, one department at a time. Day 1. Your blood sugar drops. The quick energy tank, glucose, is gone. Your body raids the pantry in your liver, draining every gram of glycogen like it's looting its own gas station. You'll feel fine, maybe even sharp. That's adrenaline, pretending everything's okay. Day 3. Fat becomes the new currency. Your body flips the switch to ketosis, emergency mode. You're burning the backup generator now, the good news? Fat holds more energy per pound than carbs ever could. The bad news? Your body burns it slowly. You'll feel sluggish, cold, like moving through syrup. You'll think clearer for a while, and then the fog creeps in. Day 10 and beyond. The system runs out of patience. You're out of fat, so it turns to the only remaining resource that still works. You. Your body begins recycling muscle tissue for fuel. Heart, organs, the works. The protein you built your life with becomes soup for your survival. You're no longer feeding, you're consuming yourself. But here's the twisted part. Your brain tries to help. It cuts corners, it slows your metabolism. Your heartbeat drifts lower. You stop fidgeting, your body temperature dips. You start conserving energy by carrying less movement, less emotion, less thought. You're not lazy, you're shutting down. And that's what makes starvation so dangerous. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It tells you to lie down for a minute, to skip boiling the water because you're tired, to stop thinking about tomorrow because you can handle today. That whisper is how it wins, so you have to outthink it. Starvation wants you panicked, then passive. Don't give it either. Measure everything. Every can, every calorie, every drop of energy you spend. The goal isn't to feel full. The goal is to stay functional. Survival is math. Burn less than you can replace, move less than you can recover, and you can stretch 1 week of food into 3. Because starvation isn't a sprint, it's siege warfare, and your body is both the fortress and the soldier. So learn its rules. Feed it when you can, trick it when you can't, and when it starts whispering that you're finished, whisper back, not yet. There's a rule every survivor lives by. It's simple, brutal, and older than civilization itself. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's the countdown clock ticking in the background of every disaster. You don't get to negotiate with it. You only get to play within it. The first number, 3 minutes, keeps you humble. Hold your breath right now. At 40 seconds, you're uncomfortable. At 90, you're panicking. By 2 minutes, the body is screaming. The lesson? You are not built for deprivation. You're built for adaptation. So when the world collapses, your job isn't to be comfortable. It's to become unkillable, one breath at a time. The second number, 3 days, belongs to water. Dehydration is the faster killer. It doesn't look cinematic. It looks like cracked lips, dizziness, and dumb decisions. You'll stop sweating, which sounds efficient until you realize it means your body has turned off its air conditioning. Then comes the confusion, the hallucinations, the why did I walk into the desert to find help? Kind of mistakes. Without water, your blood thickens, your kidneys scream, and your heart becomes a pump full of sludge. 3 days, that's your leash. Shorter if it's hot, shorter still if you're moving. You can't fight, plan, or even think your way out of that one. So remember this. Before you hunt, before you build, before you eat, find water. The third number, 3 weeks, is the long war. That's when starvation shows up to collect its debt. It sounds generous, 21 days, plenty of time, but it's a slow execution. Every sunrise costs you something: muscle, warmth, memory, hope. By the end of week 2, your body starts cashing out organs for calories. You might survive the math, but your brain will not survive the boredom, the exhaustion, the waiting. Starvation doesn't just drain your body, it drains your will. That's why the rule of threes isn't just biology, it's strategy. It tells you what matters when everything falls apart. Oxygen arrow, water arrow, food, in that order. Mess up the order and you die faster. Respect it and you can build a system, one priority feeding the next. The smart survivor knows the rule of threes isn't there to scare you. It's there to simplify the chaos. When the world burns, when panic eats your brain, you don't need 1,000 plans. You just need 3 numbers, 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 weeks. Every second you stay alive inside those limits, you're winning. Because survival isn't about comfort or confidence. It's about clarity. Remember the order. Repeat it like prayer. And when your mind starts to spiral, whisper it again. Breathe. Drink. Eat later. Now that you know the clock you're fighting against, let's talk about how to buy yourself more time. The biggest mistake people make when the food runs out is thinking they're still grocery shopping. They look for meals, recipes, flavor. But survival isn't about eating well. It's about eating long. When the shelves are empty, you stop being a consumer and start being a scavenger. You're not searching for dinner anymore. You're hunting for calories per cubic inch. Forget everything you've learned from cooking shows. The apocalypse doesn't care about plating, seasoning, or presentation. It cares about one number: energy in versus energy out. Your body is an engine. It burns what you feed it. So your mission is to find the highest octane fuel you can get for the least effort. That means fat, oil, and sugar, the unholy trinity of survival. A single spoon of peanut butter has the same energy as a whole bowl of vegetables. 1 cup of oil could buy you another day alive. That candy bar you ignored at the gas station? It's now gold-wrapped fuel. But here's the catch. Scavenging isn't just about what you eat. It's about what you don't. Every step you take burns calories. Every search is a trade. If you hike 5 miles to find 300 calories of canned corn, you just went bankrupt. So think like an accountant, not a hunter. Efficiency is survival. Canned food is your best friend. If you can find it, ignore the expiration dates. Those aren't laws, they're suggestions written by lawyers. If the can isn't bulging, leaking, or hissing like a viper, it's probably safe. Smell it, boil it, eat it, move on. And if there's no can in sight, welcome to the second menu, the one nature wrote in invisible ink. Dandelions, clover, cattails, pine needles. Half the weeds in your yard are edible, and the other half are just trying to trick you into learning which ones are which. If it smells like almonds, stay away. If it tastes bitter and your tongue tingles, spit it out. You're not looking for flavor, you're looking for function. The apocalypse has no Michelin stars. A handful of birdseed, a spoonful of dog food, a slice of stale bread, all of it is energy, and energy is life. The truth is, scavenging isn't glamorous. It's cold fingers digging through dumpsters. It's cracking open vending machines for one last protein bar. It's eating the same can of beans for the third night in a row and pretending it's a feast. But it's also proof of something beautiful. You're still here, still moving, still refusing to die. Because scavengers are the reason anything ever survived. They adapt, improvise, and eat what the world forgets. And if you can learn to think like one, to see calories where others see garbage, you'll never go hungry again. No forest, no farm, no problem. Civilization is just a wilderness made of concrete, and it's still full of food. You just have to stop looking for what you want and start finding what you need. Welcome to the Urban Forager's menu. It's not 5-star dining, it's 5-day survival. First rule, you're surrounded by calories. They're hiding in vending machines, office kitchens, pet stores, and garbage bins. You just have to drop your pride long enough to grab them. When everyone else is starving, ego is poison. Hunger doesn't care how gross something is, only if it burns when you light it on fire. Start with the obvious, abandoned stores and restaurants. Forget the fresh produce aisle, that's a graveyard now. Head for the middle shelves, canned food, jerky, rice, pasta, energy bars. Anything sealed, dry, or sugary will outlive the apocalypse. And maybe you. Pet food? Not a joke. High protein, shelf-stable, calorie-dense. Dogs have better survival diets than most humans. Check the label. If it's meat, rice, or oats, congratulations, that's lunch. And if you're judging that sentence right now, you've never been truly hungry. Next, the wild greens of the urban jungle. They grow between cracks in the sidewalk, behind dumpsters, along fences. Dandelion leaves, clover, plantain, chickweed, they're nature's free multivitamins. Boil them, fry them, chew them raw. Just clean them first, and don't confuse green with safe rule of thumb. If it smells like almonds or chemicals, spit it out. You're not a goat, you're a strategist. Office buildings are treasure troves of forgotten calories. Break room snacks, instant coffee, sugar packets, condiment drawers. That old jar of peanut butter? That's 2,000 calories of pure, oily survival. Even ketchup and honey count. Sugar equals fuel. In a crisis, you'll find yourself licking sweetness off a plastic lid and thanking gravity it didn't spill. And when all else fails, dumpsters. Yeah, the apocalypse doesn't come with manners. Grocery dumpsters are full of expired food that's still edible for weeks. Cut off the mold, cook it twice, and say, "Grace?" Rotten fruit? Slice away the soft parts. Bruised veggies? Stew them. Remember, gross is a luxury word. Alive is the only flavor that matters. But the best urban foragers do one more thing. They map the city like a predator. You're not wandering, you're hunting. You memorize where the vending machines are, which houses have fruit trees, where the storm drains collect clean rainwater. Knowledge becomes your grocery list. So, no, you're not helpless without a farm. The city is a pantry built by the lazy and abandoned by the scared. You just have to open it. Because when everything goes wrong, the survivors aren't the ones who stocked up. They're the ones who learned how to see food where everyone else saw trash. Everyone dreams of a doomsday bunker stocked with gourmet rations, vacuum-sealed steaks, and a Wi-Fi signal strong enough to stream your regret. Reality check. When everything goes wrong, your pantry will look less like a kitchen and more like a science experiment. But here's the secret the apocalypse doesn't want you to know. You only need 3 things to build a pantry that can outlive you. Ingredient 1. The Calorie King. Rice is the quiet hero of human history. It doesn't complain, doesn't rot, doesn't care if you store it in a bucket or a sock. One cup can feed two people, and a 50-pound bag can feed hope for a month. It's pure starch, energy you can actually trust. When everything else spoils, rice just sits there, immortal, waiting to be boiled back to life. Add a pinch of salt and it tastes like victory. Here's the physics. Dry grains last because they contain almost no water. And bacteria hate that. So if you keep it dry, airtight, and off the floor, it'll outlast your lease. That's why every real prepper worships the bucket. Plastic, sealed, labeled, not fancy, but eternal. Ingredient 2, the protein packed. Beans. Rice feeds you, beans repair you. Together they form a complete protein and one of nature's weird power couples. Rice gives you carbs. Beans give you amino acids. Together they give you a fighting chance. Dried beans last forever if you keep them cool and sealed. Canned beans? Even better. If the label says best by 2022, that's just corporate optimism. If it's not bulging or leaking, it's still dinner. Pro tip. Soak them overnight, boil them twice. Saves fuel, saves time, saves teeth. And if you're tired of beans, congratulations, you're alive enough to be picky. Ingredient 3, the immortal sweet, honey. The pharaohs were buried with it. 3,000 years later, archaeologists opened the jars and found it still edible. No mold, no rot, just liquid gold. Honey is the only food on Earth that literally doesn't expire. It's sugar, it's medicine, it's antiseptic, it's energy in its purest form. It'll boost your calories, heal your cuts, and sweeten the apocalypse all at once. Add these three together, rice, beans, honey, and you've built the holy trinity of survival. They're cheap, dense, and stubbornly immortal. You can store them anywhere. A closet, a trunk, even the back seat of a dead car. And if you stock enough to fill one plastic tub, you've bought yourself weeks, maybe months, of time. This isn't a pantry. It's a time machine made of carbohydrates and defiance. Because when everyone else is fighting over bread, you'll be quietly boiling your future on a camping stove, smiling at the sound of rain, knowing you've beaten hunger the old-fashioned way, with math, buckets, and stubborn hope. When everything collapses, the real survivors don't look for gadgets. They build them. Because when the world runs out of resources, trash becomes technology. And if you can't see the difference, you won't last long enough to complain about it. See, comfort is fragile. Everything around you, every chair, every wrapper, every bottle, was made to be thrown away. But to a survivor, that's raw material. Trash isn't the end of usefulness. It's the beginning of invention. Let's start simple. Plastic bottles. They're everywhere. Floating in rivers, rolling down streets, mocking you. But they're miracles in disguise. Cut one open and you've got a water scoop. Fill it and you've got a canteen. Stack them and you've got insulation. Leave them half full and paint them black. Now you've got a solar heater. Plastic is the apocalypse's gift to the creative. Next, cardboard. People laugh at it until the night gets cold. Layer it under your sleeping spot and it becomes armor against the ground. Tape it to your walls and it becomes insulation. Shape it into a windbreak and it becomes shelter. Cardboard isn't packaging, it's paper steel. Metal scraps? That's currency. Old cans can become stoves, lanterns, or cooking pots. Cut them into hooks. Flatten them into shovels. Punch holes and run wire through. Boom, you've got a grill. The apocalypse doesn't need aesthetics, it needs function. And metal always obeys if you're patient enough to bend it. Now let's talk fire. Forget lighters and fancy stoves. You've got a chemistry set all around you. Steel wool plus a battery equals instant flame. Vaseline on cotton balls? That's a 15-minute fire starter. Empty chips bag? Tear it open. The foil lining reflects heat like a mirror. You're not surviving with tools, you're surviving with ideas. And then there's trash insulation. Stuff your jacket with dry leaves, crumpled newspaper, or old rags. Wrap your feet in grocery bags before your socks. It's not stylish. It's thermal science with a hint of desperation. Warmth isn't about money, it's about creativity. Even glass bottles can save your life. Fill them with water, leave them in sunlight, and you've got sterilization. Line them up and they become heat batteries. Smash them, carefully, and they become alarm systems around your camp. Nothing is useless until you decide it is. Here's the truth. Survival isn't about stockpiling supplies, it's about changing the way you see the world. To the unprepared, a pile of junk is garbage. To you, it's infrastructure. Because when the lights go out, ingenuity becomes the last renewable resource. Trash becomes treasure. And survival, that's just intelligence, repurposed.